Welcome once more to the Library of M. We will continue reading Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. In our parallel world, things happened that had not yet happened in the world we'd come from. When they finally happened outside, we found them familiar because versions of them have been performed in front of us. It was as if we were a provincial audience. New Haven to the real world's New York, where history could try out its next spectacle. For instance, the story of Georgina's boyfriend, Wade, and the sugar. They had met in a cafeteria. Wade was dark and good-looking in a flat, all-American way. What made him irresistible was his rage. He was enraged about almost everything and gloomed with anger. Georgina explained that his father was the problem. His father's a spy, and Wade's mad that he can never be as soft as his father. I was more interested in Wade's father than in Wade's problem. A spy for us? I asked. Of course, said Georgina, but she wouldn't say more. Wade and Georgina would sit on the floor of our room and whisper. I was supposed to leave them alone, and usually I did. One day, though, I decided to stick around and find out about Wade's father. Wade loved talking about him. He lives in Miami, so King can get over to Cuba. He invaded Cuba. He's killed dozens of people with his bare hands. He knows who killed the president. Did he kill the president? I asked. I don't think so, said Wade. Wade's last name was Barker. I have to admit, I didn't believe a word of what Wade said. After all, he was a crazy 17-year-old who got so violent that it took 2 weak aides to hold him down. Sometimes he would be locked in his ward for a week and Georgina couldn't get him to see him. Then he'd simmer down and resume his visits on the floor of our room. Wade's father had 2 friends who particularly impressed Wade, Liddy and Hunt. Those guys will do anything, Wade said. He said this often, and he seemed worried about it. Georgina didn't like me pestering Wade about his father. She ignored me as I sat on the floor with them. But I couldn't resist. Like what? I asked him. What kind of things will they do? I can't reveal, said Wade. Shortly after this, he lapsed into a violent phase that went on for several weeks. Georgina was at a loose end without Wade's visits. Because I felt partly responsible for his absence, I offered various distraction. Let's decorate the room, I said. Let's play Scrabble, or let's cook things. Cooking things was what appealed to Georgina. Let's make caramels, she said. I was surprised that 2 people in a kitchen could make caramels. I thought of them as a mass production item, like automobiles, for which complicated machinery was needed. But according to Georgina, all we needed was a frying pan and sugar. When it's caramelized, she said, we pour it into little balls on wax paper. The nurses thought it was cute that we were cooking. Practicing for when you and Wade get married? One asked. I don't think Wade is the marrying kind, said Georgina. Even someone who's never made caramels knows how hot sugar has to be before it caramelizes. That's how hot it was when the pan slipped and I poured half of the sugar onto Georgina's hand, which was holding the wax paper straight. I screamed and screamed, but Georgina didn't make a sound. The nurses ran in and produced ice and ermines and grappins, and I went screaming, and Georgina did nothing. She stood still with her candid hand stretched out in front of her. I can't remember if it was E. Howard Hunt or G. Gordon Liddy who said, during the Watergate hearings, that he nightly held his hand in a candle flame till his palm burned to assure himself he could stand up to torture. Whoever it was, we knew about it already. The Bay of Pigs, the scared skin, the bare-handed killers who would do anything. We've seen the previews, Wade, Georgina, and I, along with an audience of nurses whose reviews ran something like this. Patient lacked affect after accident. Patient continues fantasy that father is a CIA operative with dangerous friends.
Thank you so much for listening to the Library of M. Please, if you like the content, subscribe and leave a comment and share. See you next time.